Hello! I think I've got it working. I'm not exactly sure. I hope I've got it working. This has been such fun. Not. I'm determined to do live streaming. I'm so determined. So I'm hoping that this is what you're seeing is me. I'm just checking on my phone now as well because I'm not too sure. It should be on. It should be on. Is it on? Excellent connection. Right, am I on? Is anything happening? Oh. Right. Oh. What have I not done? Am I working? Right, it says I'm live streaming. Am I live streaming? Am I here? Can anyone see me? Oh, am I there? Oh, thank goodness. Oh, well, I tell you what, that's been a nightmare. I'm an old person, and getting to grips with modern technology is blooming hard when you're nearly 70. Anyway, hello, welcome. Here I am, ready to chat to you about hats and anything you would like to chat about, really. I'm sat in, excuse the background, I'm sat in what is normally the front room of my house because my studio is way too small to do all this sort of thing. I can't get over, I'm seeing myself in mirror image, so I'm trying to get my fringe out my eyes. I'm just going to type something. Welcome. Yeah. I don't know what it looks like at your end. How does it look? Apart from the messy background. Anyway, yes, I'm sat in my front room of my house because my studio is too small to do this sort of thing. And I tried once before to do a live and I messed it up totally. So I thought, right, I've really got to get to grips with this. So here I am. And we're going to hope that we can chat about things. Yes, so I'm in my front room and I have been spending a lot of time making hats over the summer, which has been fabulous. Now, I started this channel when lockdown came about and COVID took over the world and it all went to poo because there were no weddings, there were no events, there were no horse racing, there was nothing. And so hats really went out the window. So I started the channel because I wanted to keep my hand in and let everyone else join in and understand what millinery is all about. But of course, this year, hooray, COVID is sort of petering out into the distance. Hurrah, hurrah. And it got manically busy. People were getting married. They were wearing hats. They were having events. And I wasn't geared up for it, I have to say. I was not geared up for it. So I got very, very busy, which meant the YouTube channel sort of got sidelined a bit, which is a real shame. But it is difficult to do lots of things at once. And so what I'm looking to do is chat to you about what we should do in the future, what you'd like me to talk about. If you have any questions, please do ask me, because I'm always here to help anybody. I've also been doing a lot of sewing, as you might see from, where am I? Up there. A little something on the dressmaker's dummy at the moment, and a little jacket I made. Ta-da! Because I just haven't been sewing anything for ages, so I thought, do a bit of sewing, make things for myself. And I thought I'd talk a bit about what I've been making over the last couple of months. You might have seen from my Instagram and my Facebook that I had a bit of a mad weekend and started making hats like crazy. I thought, I really got to get back into the swing of things. And I was also trying very hard to make use of the blocks I've got, because I've talked about this before, hat blocks are very expensive. And although you can build up quite a selection over the years, which I've done, you need to be able to find different ways to use them. And I thought I'd just say, you might have seen this that I made recently. Didn't really go with my glasses. Hang on. And I really liked this with its feather side, but I didn't have a block for this style. So I thought what I would do is utilise what I did have. So I had this little block. Now, to be honest, this could have just been a big tin of baked beans. It didn't have to be a little hat block. It could have been anything. But I had this one. And I had my trusty dish that I got from a charity shop. It's hardwood. It's nice, isn't it? Indian, I think. I don't know. But I like it that way round. And look, it even has a string groove. So when I made this hat, what I did was I put this block on the top of here and I taped it down to keep it in place, and I stretched the felt right over, just put the felt on top and stretched it right down over this. So it didn't come in, it just stretched over the side and was pinned to the bottom. And then when it was almost dry, I took it off the block and shaped the top by hand. Can you see? So I shaped the top by hand. I made an indent there. Oh, I think I'll do it there. And then I put it on my head again to just raise it up a little bit in the middle. So I've got a little dent there for my head. And that's the shape that I got. So I've been really, really trying to use not only the blocks I've got, I've been mixing and matching, because often you might buy a block. For example, I've got a fedora block, so it's got a separate fedora top and a bottom, but I've been using the top with other brims and the bottom with other tops, with other crowns, trying to sort of mix and match and get some more ideas on the go. So if anyone's got any questions, do ask me, because I have no ideas what I'm doing half the time. But I might have a glass of wine. Cheers. Now, how can I tell if other people can see me properly? It's very, because on here it says waiting for. I don't know. Oh yeah, I can see me now. I am working. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because with all of YouTube, it's funny, I must tell you, they said, would I participate in, they wanted to know some things about YouTube creators. Would I participate? And I went, yeah, fine. And I clicked. And it said, what age are you? Are you over 35? Oh, definitely. Click that. And it effectively said, you're too old. And we don't want to know what you think, which was a bit of a shame, really, because I think we should get more older people on here showing what they can and can't do. So, hang on a second. Oh, let's have her off. And this was one I made recently. You've probably seen this. And I put this on a crown block, obviously, and then I just shaped the rest of it by hand. But what I did do is I bought lots of really pretty wool felt and cut out the flowers on my Brother Cut and Scan, because it's quicker than doing it by hand. And then put all those on it, excuse me, put all those on it. But again, that was mostly shaped by hand on the brim. And what I'm looking to do is utilise hats that you can pick up in charity shops and things like that you might not particularly like. So this one, for example, I'm going to take all the flowers off because they're stitched on. Very easy to take off. And this hat is a Toyo straw. And what I thought I'd do was, let me pull all these flowers off a minute. Yeah. What I thought I'd do is I'm going to split it up, and I'm going to use the crown. I'm going to repurpose the crown. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the base to make my own block with. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to cut it off, and I'm going to make this into a base by using paper mache and buckram. So that's something I'm thinking of doing a little video on, because often you want a shape that you haven't got a block for, or is quite difficult to block by hand. Although I'm a real exponent of freeform blocking, of just using your ideas and blocking it up. But I thought, this might be a good thing for us to look at doing a video on. So that's one of the ideas I've got coming up. Excuse me, just putting everything back. Oh, we put that back on there. Also, I did think it would be nice to talk about brims and do something to do with how to shape brims, how to not just have a round brim with a hole in the middle, but offset holes and shape the brims, make patterns for yourself for doing brims. So that's another idea I've had. But I'm always open for suggestions. Oh, thank you, Jessica. That's so nice. You're so innovative. I really enjoy. I would love to see you do a channel for sewing as well. Well, funny enough, I have got a couple of sewing videos on my channel, Jessica. But I'm thinking of doing something like that because I tend not to use patterns. They're very expensive, a bit like hat blocks. So what I tend to do is make it up as I go along. So, in fact, I'll show you this jacket. If I take it off and show you, it's easier. And you know me, I'm very laid back about everything. So this is my little jacket I've made. Now, those sleeves are just rectangles gathered up and sewn on to a very simple shirt style at the front, which was so easy to make. Most of my clothes are made by myself, and I can normally make something in an hour or so. And I wore something out there. I took my son, my eldest son who's handicapped, I took him to a recent fete, and I had a top on, very similar sleeves to this. And a woman said, I love that top, you should sell those. But I'm not good at selling clothes because I make them and then I like them so much, I keep them. So I have a very full wardrobe. But I will probably do a tutorial on this and on that because that is so simple. Evening shrug, just a rectangle of fabric. I think, you know, nowadays we're all looking to cut costs. We're all looking to spend less. Our energy bills are all going up. And we just haven't got the money, and me included, haven't got the money to spend out on vast amounts of materials and stuff. So I'm always looking at ways of not cutting corners, but cutting costs. So reuse, recycle, and make more use of the things you do have in your stash. Now, I know that although there are quite a lot of milliners that watch my channel, there are also people who sew and people who are just interested. I remember someone remarking on one of the videos, I just thought hats came out of a factory. I'm a little one-woman factory. So, yeah, so I'm all for, you know, teaching and sharing the joy of it all, really. So, I mean, if you've got anything you particularly want to ask me, do feel free. And also, I always say you can email me. I get junk email because everyone knows my email. It's SHMillinery@gmail.com. But if you need some help with something, do get in touch because I'm more than happy to help. Now, I just want to say a bit of a word about the membership scheme that we have running on the channel. Now, again, that started up very early on in the channel's sort of life when it was still in its infancy. I didn't really know what I was doing. And our members, they get access to our hat competition every year, which we have lovely prizes, and you don't have to send your hats anywhere. You can just make it and send me pictures, and then we upload it, and that's a lot of fun. So members can do that. They can also have all of the flat patterns I design, because I design a lot of flat pattern hats because, God, I can't do with this being sideways the other way. Mirror image, isn't it? Hang on. They can have, hi Marina, hi. Doesn't matter if you're late. I'm still waffling here. Yeah, it's, the members can also have all the flat pattern hats I design because that is part of my passive income online. Now, most of you know that I sell my hats via Etsy, and as I say, this year's been incredibly busy. Had some lovely feedback and great custom orders, etc. I do have customers come to my studio, local customers, and that's been nice, doing wedding hats, you know, mother of the bride, mother of the groom, for them all, and that's been a lot of fun, although I tend not to make a lot of traditional styles. So people might go away with a hat they didn't expect to have, but they still love it. Anyway, I digressed. So members can have that flat pattern hats. As I say, that's my passive income on Etsy. I sell patterns all the time, and once they're done, I don't have to worry about them. But I feel I'm letting my members down a bit recently because I just haven't had the time to do all the things I would like to do. I'm one of those people who never sits still, and I still don't have any time. So I'm probably going to adjust the membership scheme down to just one tier. It'll be probably just $1 more for some people and $1 less for some people. So I'm going to adjust that so that I feel that everyone's getting the same benefits. But that will come on board as we go. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I have met lots of other milliners through doing YouTube. And some of my millinery friends do so much better on this live streaming malarkey. There's look all posh and plush, and there's me. So I'm not very good at that. But now I've got the hang of. Now I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I can up the game a bit. But it's like millinery. You have to start somewhere, or sewing. You have to start somewhere, don't you? And you have to start small and work your way up. Now, none of us are going to become millionaires overnight unless we invent something like the safety pin again, or come out with something just totally unknown in the fashion world. And there's nothing new in hats, in clothing. It just goes around in circles all the time. I mean, I was making crownless brim hats 30 years ago, and they're back in again. So, you know, nothing changes. Anyway, I'm going to stay on for as long as you like me to, but, you know, if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them, because this is really a test run. And what I'm hoping is that I can work out how to rig up another camera so that I can do something, show you how to make something at the same time as chatting. But I wasn't too sure how it would work. And I said to my other half earlier, I need a glass of wine, because if this all goes poo and I look a twit, it won't be good. But I love the fact that we have so many subscribers to the channel. I love it every time any of you put something on one of the videos. I always try and reply to everybody. There's nothing worse, is there, when you look at other people's videos and all these people have commented and there's no replies. I think that's very rude. But yes, so we're just stuck in my front room at the moment. So I can't really show you a lot of hats, and I can't show you my hat blocks. But hopefully now I've got the hang of this, I'll be able to do that. I'll be able to show you more and work out how to have more than one camera running, etc. Because, yeah, it's been very taxing on my poor old noddle. Can make a hat in half an hour. But trying to set up a live stream, never mind. Anyway, we've all got to start thinking about the winter. So hence I've been making cloches and more wintry style hats and more. That's the only thing with anything that you're doing in the fashion world. You always have to be thinking ahead. You always have to be thinking, what's the next thing that's coming up? Well, it's Halloween. So I should have been making Halloween hats 6 months ago. Not that I tend to do Halloween, but if I was going to, it would have been 6 months ago. It's Christmas coming up. I already have made some Christmas fascinators and things. but it's the winter, so people want something warm. They might want something waterproof. But you've got to be making those in the summer, ready for the winter. So it's very hard when it's the wedding season and everyone's wanting something light and airy and in beautiful pastel shades to be thinking about the winter. Excuse me. But I am trying to get my shop restocked because it got very empty over the last few months. So I'm going to be busy making, which means I'm going to try and video everything I do. And if I'm doing any sewing, I shall try and video that as well. But I'm so glad that I got the hang of this, you know. Oh, I bet you feel like that when you've made a hat, don't you? You go, oh, so glad I got the hang of that. And it turned out okay. Anyway. Hiya, Anne. Sorry I missed the start. I love the dark and gold behind you. What is it, please? Right. Well, we were just saying earlier about sewing. I'm going to do some sewing videos. But, oh. I managed to buy this beautiful gold fabric. So you might have seen it on my Instagram. And it's two-tone, so if you brush it one way, it's one colour, and if you brush it the other way, it's another colour. And I've been making these lined shrugs so that you can just pop these on. I'll put one on. Didn't expect to be doing this, but there we are. Oh, it's stuck to my jumper. Oh. It's a bit small for me, this one. But nice shrugs for Christmas, you know. Oh, that's not very good, is it? How do people get the fact that they're mirror imaged in the video? So that, I'll show you how to make them, because it's literally made out of a rectangle of fabric. So I made a couple of gold ones. Now, because people know I make things, I made a black sequined one. And I made two silver ones. My daughter immediately came round and said, can I have that? And she took it. And then my granddaughter came round and went, can I have the other one? So, yeah. So I'm all for making your own clothes as easily as possible without spending vast amounts of money. Bits of cotton all over me. Brims for flat pattern hats. Yes, I'm definitely going to do that. Also, what I'm going to do is work out how I can get the chat coming up quicker, because it's obvious that it doesn't come up very quickly. And then I probably answer something about 10 minutes after you've asked it. So I'm going to have to work on that. Yeah. Not something for my country. We think that black is a garish colour and shining things. Ooh. Where do you live? I don't know. Anyway, cheers folks, I've got some Merlot. It's been a long day. And I'm doing, oh, Sweden. Ah, no. Lovely country. They've got really good design in Sweden. But you've got plenty of ideas then. Yeah, it's been a really busy week because I also look after my grandchildren a lot. I've got a lot of those, 11 of them. God, yeah. They're very fecund in this family. Making a lot of hats, doing a lot of sewing, and I'm also going to be redecorating, or as the Americans say, remodeling this room. Hence, still doesn't look great because I'm going to strip it out so that I can have it as a second studio. My husband thinks I'm taking over the entire house, but why not? He has his own little workshop, so I can just sew, make hats, invent patterns. All my members, if you're a member, if you're a paying member of the channel, you're welcome to all my flat pattern hat patterns. So you just email me at shmillinery@gmail.com. I check you are a member, and then you can have the hat patterns for free. And also, it's great to get feedback. So what I am going to do, the classic English shed. No, actually, he hasn't got an English shed. He's got a Victorian stable. But my other half is a clock repairer, a horologist, although he's semi-retired now. So we both have just made and fixed and all our lives. And his hobby is railways and model railways. So we're great. We're a great team, really, because we support each other. That's always the trouble when you're working for yourself. You do need support because we both work for ourselves. So during COVID, neither of us had any income. I was getting really good at learning how to do a lot with 2 potatoes. But we always support each other, and because we both have a good eye for design, a lot of the time I will go out to him and I'll say, right, what do you think to this hat? I'm not sure about the trim. And he'll give me his honest opinion, and nearly always he's right. And he probably says the thing that was in my mind, but I just needed someone else to validate it, really. And same with him when he's doing anything. I couldn't go out there and go, no, that looks rubbish. Yeah, so we have, our house is very boring, really. It was built in the early 1950s by a builder who still lived in the 1940s, I think. So, but we only bought this house because it had a huge workshop at the side, which was an old Victorian stable. And when we moved in, it had cobbles. It's got no foundations. It's a double-storey building and it has no foundations. And my studio is at the top, and it was originally the hayloft of the stable. And that's where my studio is. And it's a lovely little studio, but it's freezing cold in the winter, boiling hot in the summer, although we have tried to insulate and, and it's quite small. It's a great space to work in, but it's very small for doing this sort of thing. And if I've got a customer coming round, she can't bring an entourage because I only have one comfy chair up there for them. So I take over this room in the house when I can, which is most of the time. Anyway, I've really enjoyed chatting. I'm really pleased that I've managed to get the live stream working, and that was my biggest thing. Could I get it working? Could I learn another thing, and so that I could utilize that for the channel? And I'm pleased to say I think I've cracked it. So hopefully if I can work on it a bit more, we can have more going on, and I can actually do hats and you can watch me make them. So I really appreciate you all coming on board, giving me the thumbs up that I've got it right and I am actually streaming. So what I'd like you to do is, if you think there's anything you'd like to see me stream, if there's anything you'd like to see me make, just let me know. Just comment on the video, because it'll once I end the stream, it'll go on to the general video page. I mean, if anyone else pops along, they'll probably think, who is that old woman who witters? Never mind. Thank you all very much for your time. I hope you have a lovely rest of the evening. I'm going to go off and have something to eat. And I will speak to you all soon, I hope. And many, many thanks for joining me this evening. Goodbye.